Small talk.
Welcome, everyone, to a special show of Small Talk, the show where we talk about absolutely nothing important at all. This is our 5th episode of Small Talk Figure Showcase, and we have probably our most, maybe outside the Razor Crest, but it's up there as far as quality, probably the most premium item yet. It is the Threezero. It's the first 2 items from their DLX 112th line for Threezero. I think, what do they call it? Their Infinity Saga line,
Yeah.
kind of right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pretty far into the orders for these now, but these were the first 2 to release. So it's the Iron Man Mark 43 and then the Iron Man Hulkbuster that is technically with the 43, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I mean you can use them together. They don't come like in a package,
together,
but
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But so I am joined as always by my co-host Sean, and then as always Eddie, and then we have a special host as well showing off the figure, Sean Hughes, the Dort of Nort.
Hello.
What does Dort of Nort mean?
It's I go by Dort usually on online, and I started like a collectible Instagram Dort of Nort collecting, and so yeah, just putting that out there.
Wait a second. Have I followed that?
I think you do.
Do I? That's how bad I am on social media. Oh yeah, I definitely follow you already. So, okay. We can just kind of kick into it here. So if anyone's new to our showcase series with Small Talk, it's essentially a deeper look into it, a review if that makes it easier, but we just kind of go over separate parts around the figure. It's more so our thoughts on the figures, and in this case it's Eddie's and Usby's, just seeing where they're at with everything, what they think of different parts of it. So first off, our first question with this always, and we'll start with Eddie and then you, Usby, is what brought you to the figure? Why were you interested in this figure? And then why did you end up purchasing it? How, like, the story of yours specifically?
So for me, I wanted a Hulkbuster, and I didn't necessarily want to get a statue of him. First of all, because the statue is like $3,500 for the only well, there's other movie ones, but I didn't want all the statues are expensive, over $1,000. The hot toy is $1,000, which is nice, beautiful hot toy. I've seen it several times, never owned it, but it doesn't really do much other than stand there and look cool, which is enough because it looks really cool. But I kind of wanted something that I could do a little more posing with, a little would look a little more dynamic. And so I was watching reviews, and I know there's several different 112 Hulkbusters out there, and I know Threezero starting the line, and it's fairly affordable. So I checked out that one, and after watching a couple reviews, I figured that was the one that was for me, and so that's why I picked up the Hulkbuster. And then the 43 I got before the Hulkbuster. Wasn't expecting to grab that one, but one of the guys in the CW group, Mike Cruz, he's been around for a while, cool guy. He had it for a good deal, and so I picked it up from him, and I thought them two together would make a really cool display that you could do that would kind of give it a little more presence. So that's how I ended up getting both of them.
Speaking of Mike Cruz, I think I actually vouched for him in a trade with another guy I bought Mezco's from before. So shout out there. I think everything went through smoothly, but it was kind of a high stakes trade, I think. So hopefully when everything went all right there. But yeah, awesome guy. Cool story there. Useby, what about you? What kind of prompted you to pick these 2 figures up?
YOLO, bro. Just straight up. No.
Good answer.
So I got
No cap dead ass.
Yeah, no. I got the the Mark 43 first because it was just when it came out when they announced it and it was only $80. I was like, oh shit, man! Like, I'd like to see a new 12 scale sort of person in the game. So Threezero obviously has some clout with their Transformers figures and all that. So I was like, oh, that's great. $80, dude. I'll take the leap. I'll check out the 43. So I got that. And then a little bit later, they announced the Hulkbuster. And I do have the Hot Toys Hulkbuster. Eddie's right; it doesn't do much, but just be really heavy and sit there. But looks great, but yeah, it doesn't do much. So when I saw this and sort of saw the at least advertised posability of it, and the fact that it was only $250 for what you get is I said screw it. I'm gonna recreate sort of those crazy poses that I've seen some of the people do with the Hot Toys one. But with a cheaper sort of alternative and more sort of compact alternative, and to something that you can put in a lot more places. So yeah, pretty much just that. Mostly I just got the Threezero. Started with the 43 out of curiosity, and then got this. I haven't got anything else from the line, but definitely considering it based on how awesome these are.
Yeah, very cool. Sorry, Eddie, what were you gonna say?
These two are the only ones released other than the battle damage version of the 43. Everything else is on pre-order right now.
Yep. Yeah, I think something's coming soon.
They're all scheduled to ship in the next month or so on anything, I think. Like I have the other ones on pre-order at Big Bad, and I think they're all scheduled Q3 of 2022. So any time now. So
Yeah, pretty much like August, September, October timeframe. Yeah, I have the Mark 46, I believe. And that's the only other one so far that I have on order. But the Mark 50, that's the newest one, I think, isn't it? So that one's
Yeah,
Q4.
that's the one with the accessory pack.
Yeah, and then Mark 3 is Q3 of this year, and then the accessory pack is also fourth quarter with the 50. So very cool. And there was a battle damage version of the 43 that kind of has a funky story. I don't know the full backstory of it, but I remember from how we covered it. And initially, so it was sold as a premium. It was a little bit more expensive than the regular Mark 43 non-battle damage version. It sold out. It was only sold, I think, on their Threezero website. Sold out very quickly. Quite a few people were upset about it. And then it got trickled in a couple cons, and then stayed sold out. And then randomly out of nowhere, Threezero just was like, "Hey, here's the Mark 43 battle damage." And everyone's like, what the fuck? This has been sold out? I thought this was an exclusive. What's going on with this? So I don't know. We don't know what's going on with that, but I think you can get it now. So it's just kind of a weird story behind that one.
mm-hmm.
But
it's definitely available on Sideshow right now. I don't know anywhere else.
Yeah, it was late to being available on Sideshow. Like it's been out for probably over a year, maybe a year and a half, but it was sold out most of that time. So just kind of weird. But okay, so box art is typically our next segment that we cover on it, but neither of you guys have your boxes, right? Or I think USB does. I see something sitting there.
Yeah, we don't have the box art for the Hulkbuster, but I do have the box art for the 43 if you want to see that.
Yeah. Show us that real quick here.
All right, hold up.
Damn.
All right, here we go. It's
Solo cam, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Awesome.
Pretty cool. It's got a picture of the looks like concept art or something like that. Some sort of rendering of it. Nice little foil inlay on the front there.
Yeah.
On the back, just your standard, stuff. This is not a toy, only suitable for 15 and above. This is not a toy, guys.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, and it's got a clamshell here with.
Wow.
I know the Hulkbuster is like this too. It also has a clamshell like this.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It's really
And
nice.
like the window and what do you call that? Like the window flap in the front. Very cool. That it almost seems like everyone calls these mini hot toys.
Yeah.
It almost seems like even the packaging is like a mini hot toy.
Yeah, these things are really well. The package is really nice on these. I'll say that. It's not like your typical, you know. I don't know. I mean, I think Mezco is still a little bit more. No, not even like Mezco maybe is more premium when they have their like their tins and stuff like that. But a standard, figure.
Yeah.
I like this, better.
What I've always said, and I think this is a common complaint about Mezco, is how unnecessarily large a lot of their boxes are, except for their exclusives. Their exclusives are really nice sized boxes, but that seems like a nice, sleek, kind of long but storable box. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it. Cool. Okay, so from there, and Eddie, you don't have any comments on it. You just got
The
your
boxes
box.
are cool. I think. Yeah, they're cool. They go straight to storage for me. So,
Yeah.
the Hulkbuster box, although that is not a very small box, it's actually probably the same size as like a normal hot toy. Like yeah, that one will take up space for storage. And I don't typically throw away higher priced item boxes. So,
Sure. So, moving on to the next one here. Oh, sorry, Sean. I just kind of moved on, but just the accessories for what came with these two. If you guys don't mind, let's start with which one do you guys want to start with first for
well,
what we're breaking down? The Hulkbuster or
Hulkbuster
the...
doesn't have much. So,
Here's the accessories that come with the.
yeah, it
Hulkbuster.
literally
Okay.
comes with 4 hands.
Let's
So-
do Hulkbuster first of everything.
Okay.
And then from there, just go to the Mark 43.
Okay. Well, since Sean started with the box, I'll do this really quick. So Hulkbuster comes with, on the figure comes with 2 relaxed hands, and then in the box you get 2 fisted hands, which is right here. And they are heavy, solid plastic, but they are like a plastic or a rubber or some pliable material. Like even the fisted ones, I can slightly bend the fingers, like I could feel some give there. But so they are not die cast like a lot of the rest of the figure, but they are pretty hefty. And they're
Really
painted extremely well.
Really
So-
stupid question. That's accurate that he only has 4 fingers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Never
I
knew
found
that. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know until I saw the hands in the box either or on the figure, and then he comes with the these are like the repulsor shooting hands or like the little more sprayed out hands.
So those middle 2 fingers are just kind of together because that's bigger, right?
Yeah.
It-
It's like
yeah.
a
Okay.
little bit more like of a
Sure.
giant finger, but
Do the Teenage
These,
Mutant Ninja
again-
Turtle pose.
Yeah.
yeah. Again, they're not die cast, but they're like pliable slightly, and they're very hefty. They got some weight to them. But yeah, so that I was talking to Sean about this backstage, but they actually don't light up, which I thought was kind of weird because like a lot of the figure lights up has different light options, and I guess because of the way they decided to make the hands, there's no light in the repulsor on them. And
So
that's everything that the Hulkbuster comes with.
so the hands don't light up at all.
Not on the Hulkbuster.
Interesting. But they do it on the Mark 43.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. I don't know if they wanted to like make the hands out of that plastic or that like rubberish whatever that is, so they didn't want to put any mechanics in the hand or something. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I
Or
would-
throughout
I
the
would've-
forearm. I don't know.
I would guess costs to try and keep it because it is a pretty fairly. What was the retail cost of the Hulkbuster again?
$250.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair.
$249.99.
Yeah.
Pretty fairly priced for what we've seen for Hulkbusters elsewhere. So it's probably a cost thing. Anything you want to touch on, Useby, on the Hulkbuster accessories or no?
No, like I said, well, one thing I'll say, it does not come with batteries. So it does have light up features,
Yeah.
but it does not
Good
come
point.
with batteries. So if
Really?
you want to use them, yeah, it tells you what kind to get in the instruction manuals. But yeah, you have to get that on your own.
So how do you guys feel about that? Because everyone bitches about Hot Toys quality of batteries as well. And so everyone's like, you might as well not even use them because they're so shitty and buy your own anyway. So do you feel like that's okay?
I think there's a certain price point. If I'm gonna pay $250 for something that should light up, then it should come with it.
But even if
Yeah.
it's as shitty as Hot Toys where it lasts 10 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever they
I
do
mean,
notoriously.
Even for me, like I may not have them on the ready. Like I typically don't put my Hot Toys batteries in anyway. But like I know for like my statues that I've gotten that have light up features, I'll throw those in there just to see what it looks like, take some pictures, and then take them out.
Yeah, well, I would think for me, I would like them to have them mostly just to test to make sure the electronics are working. I don't really leave them in there, but I always test them. At least like when I get my Iron Mans, I usually put them in the chest and the head just to verify that those ones are at least working, because those ones are, one, easy to access, and two, kind of make up the majority of what you want to see anyways.
That's a good point. I don't agree with Sean's point, but your point has
Wow.
swung me.
I'll back you on this one, Sean. I think they should come with the batteries. I don't care how shitty the batteries are.
Yeah.
It should come with them. And plus, my Hot Toy batteries have never been a problem. I don't use
I mean,
them
if you're
for
gonna
very
bitch
long.
about it anyway,
I've never used them for very long, but I still, when I use them, they work. Like my my Thor Ragnarok has been in storage for like a year, and I've used it when I got it, and then I used it now when I took it out of the box, and the batteries still work. So I don't know. I prefer the batteries come with the figure.
Yeah.
My Predators and my Iron Mans are the main things I messed around with them with, and they were not great on either one of them. The Predator was enough to pretty much show off to my friends in college because I had them displayed in my dorm room. I was just telling the chat this the other day when I think John was selling his or something in the Patreon chat, and I was talking about how I had the Predator displayed on my desk in college, so I'd always turn the light on to show people, and yeah, it did not last long at all. It's kind of embarrassing. I did not expect it to last long either at the time, because at the time I didn't really understand how shitty they were. But so anyways, good to know there. So I guess that's a good point, Sean. Moving on to the Mark 43 accessories. If you guys want to dive into that.
Yeah, sure. I'll start because I got mine out here. So accessories, he comes with 2 fisted hands on the actual figure, right there. I'll just show you. 2 fisted hands right there on the figure. Comes with a bunch of different hands in the box. Those 2 have 2 sets. Sorry, down here at the bottom have an open sort of hole in the thing, which is, I assume, Eddie, where the light comes out of when you
That's for the repulsor effect.
oh
Attachments.
yes, yeah, you're right. So yeah, some repulsor blasting hands, looks like just kind of relaxed hands, or yeah, these ones are just relaxed, but these ones have the repulsor blast part filled in, so you can get the look there. Again, then we have repulsor blasting hands with that filled in as well. I don't know what these are. Oh, these are missile attachments. Okay, so these are going to be your missile attachments that you put on the actual shoulder.
The forearm.
Okay. The forearm.
Yeah.
Oh, is it forearm? Okay, forearm.
That's where he shoots it at Ultron right before they leave
Yeah.
that area.
And I told a lie. The Mark 43 hands do not light up either.
Oh.
Now that I'm looking at them, I don't know why I thought that they had. But no.
Well, now we know.
Yeah.
Then down here in the second tier, or second tray level, we have the stand and repulsor items. So the stand here, it says Infinity Saga. Marvel Studios Iron Man Mark 43. Slimline, not very thick, but it'll get the job done for what you need it for. Hey yo. Flight pole, dynamic sort of flight stand. It actually plugs into the back of him. It's not like a waist grab or anything like that. That part right there plugs into the back of Iron Man. And so, so it's good for
those too.
Good for.
I like it. I feel like it hides. I like when it hides the arms that grab the waist. I don't really prefer those. So
That's what I was just gonna say. Have you guys used those yet? A ton.
Yeah, I used it. Since I've had the figure, he's been using that, and it works really well. And I kind of have it. He's heavy, and it holds him up. So
yeah, and
that piece that attached really holds on well.
Yeah, and you use it actually in the Hulkbuster when you put him in there.
Yeah.
Repulsors. Here we go. Looks like 2 for the feet and 2 for the hands. I don't know what that little square piece is. What's that little square piece?
I think it's something to help you open certain compartments. Like you have to pop off a panel when you're putting that flight arm into his butt.
Mhm.
It's actually in his butt. So
Nice.
you gotta. So I'm guessing
Very nice.
that's what it's for. I don't even think in the instructions or the manual like it shows what that piece is for. But that's the only thing I could imagine it using it for.
Let's look. Does it say anything? Yeah, it says strap to
Oh, it does.
remove batteries.
Oh, there you go.
I think at least.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a
I don't know
battery
why I
remover.
didn't see that before.
Well, there you go.
Do you guys wish the Hulkbuster came with anything else? Maybe like, or if they do like an accessory pack for it, like a Veronica or something like that, or the
Veronica would have been cool.
the
But that
other
would've
like
added,
arm
like-
attachment.
I feel like the Veronica would have been like a extra $50 or something.
Yeah.
That attachment where it like grabs Hulk's arm,
Yeah.
that would have been cool, but I don't really see anything else other than that maybe that they could have added. I
Yeah.
think it's fine.
Maybe battle damage pieces would be the only other
Oh.
thing.
I kind of wish it came with its own 43 bust.
Yeah.
Like I wish you didn't have to use the 43 or buy that figure as well to use it as a bust. I feel like it should have come with it.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
kinda
a
the Hot Toys.
like a chest piece to go into the Hulkbuster.
Yeah.
You mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you actually one of the ways that you can display the 43 in there, if you don't want to have them like jumping out like the flight post like Danny or Eddie has, is you can take off the top part of the torso and just put it in there and have it be just a bust that goes in there.
Is it a stressful experience to do so?
I haven't done it.
I haven't done
But
it.
it seems fairly easy. You pop off the elbows at the elbow or the arms at the elbow, and then you pop off the legs and the waist right under the ab crunch. And it's a fairly sturdy figure, so it doesn't feel like anything's going to break when you do it.
Okay. Good to know there. So any other thoughts? What about the actual base? What's your guys' thoughts on the base?
It's fine.
It's fine. It's basic, but I mean, that's kind of a standard thing for this scale of figures. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Except for like Wolverine Deluxe and stuff like that, but yeah.
I think the fact that they have a little design on it is nice.
Yeah.
For how like cheap the figure is. Like if you're comparing it to Mofex in the same price range, maybe even Mofex might be even a little more pricey. Like they just have that plain clear one. I kind of like that they're black and that they have like the embossed or not embossed whatever this is etched
Like an
in.
etched.
Yeah. Logo on it, and that's cool.
And guys, what were you saying about the base? Like, you have to use it for the Hulkbuster, or
No, you can
the
use it-
flight stand.
Yeah, you could use it in the Hulkbuster, like the way I have
I see what
here.
you're saying.
is holding the figure up right here. You could
Yeah.
plug it into the chest, and then it holds the figure up.
So what do you that bottom of that pole will plugs into a certain area in the actual
Yeah.
Hulkbuster.
Yeah.
It's meant to do
So
that.
you know how the bases will have that part for the peggle, like this little
Yep.
octagon hole here,
Yep.
or it's not a fucking octagon. What's the 6 side one? Anyway,
Hexagon.
there you go. Anyway, it has that same. It'll have that same hole inside the chest that you could plug it into, and it's fairly deep pause, so you're not gonna be worried that it stays sturdy in there. It's pretty good. I mean, like I said, like you can see here, like my 43 is pretty angled and it's heavy, and even the Hulkbuster himself is angled forward.
Yeah.
It shakes a little bit, but
The whole
holds
thing
up.
shakes, but it moves as one piece. That's why I was kind of so amazed. I had no
Yeah.
idea that's how you had that sitting there. That's cool.
Yeah, I thought you had it balanced for the longest time. Now, now that I see that, I was
could
like,
do
damn,
that,
Eddie, that's
that would-
legit.
That defies the laws of gravity if I could do that. But yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. Any last thoughts on the accessories?
No.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit bare bones, but for $80 and it being die cast and all that stuff, I think I think they did a really good job.
Yeah,
Definitely.
sure. So, the next kind of segment that we usually cover is the paint. One could argue the most important part of a figure, but this is to be honest, some of the more premier parts. When people are window shopping this figure online, this is what really stands out, it seems like. So what's your guys' thoughts on this? Like, and feel free to compare it to Hot Toys, even if that's unfair. But what do you guys think?
Phenomenal. Paint is fucking perfect to me. It's metallic where the red parts are. The gold is more of a flat gold, but it has it has a good color. The inner workings, like the silver areas, are also they're not like a chrome like the red is, but they're more of a flat, but they're painted well. And so yeah, I think paint is it's as good as a Hot Toy. Like nothing's a miss for me.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. Like looking at the sort of cherry red paint on these figures, they have like this, especially on the Hulkbuster, not 100% on the 43, but they have like all this like kind of like a metallic, not feathering, but also not flaking. It's kind of weird. Like when you look at it in person, you'll see it, but it looks really good. It's kind of speckled. It makes it look very metallic, very deep sort of red. Same thing on the gold. The gold's a little shinier on the 43 than it is on the Hulkbuster. But yeah, as far as paint quality, I mean, definitely on par with Hot Toys. Like no doubt about it. It's kind of hard to see, obviously, in the camera, but I mean, it's well done. There's no specks or anything like that. There's no overshoot or sort of them painting hastily or anything like that. You could definitely tell they took some time on this one and all that. So yeah, it's phenomenal.
Did either of you guys own the Hot Toy Mark 43?
Yeah, I still do.
Okay. And so you've compared it straight up to that?
Well, I just opened this one, but I haven't compared them side to side. But yeah, I mean, I think it is. You know what I mean? I think whatever processes that Hot Toys uses to paint theirs, I mean, I think it's applicable to something that is this size. For metallics and stuff like that. For head sculpts and all that, maybe not. But for the plastics and the painting and all that stuff, I think they nailed it for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't had the 43 for a while. I remember I loved that Hot Toy. I thought that was really well done, and it's just as good to me. I mean, I'm sure when you have them side by side, there's probably some slight variation in the paint that may look better on the Hot Toy just because of price, and also like just being bigger, you get more detail out of things. So Yeah.
Inch. Okay.
So, what do you guys think about the sculpt in general? Just
The
Do you
sculpt
think-
of like the armor, or
like
So-
the armor and I'd say like you got a lot of lines in there.
Yeah, typically in this segment we'll kind of zero in on like head sculpts or portraits or whatever, but in this case, I guess like maybe we can talk about how much of them is die cast, or something like the sturdiness of the figure, any little tidbits there that you didn't expect.
I'll say, I mean, the Hulkbuster is a beefy boy. He is heavy. He's definitely got some weight to him. So I don't know exactly how much of it is diecast and all, but he's definitely he's got some girth to him. And so I like that. So I don't know if the entire frame is diecast and then just the pieces on the outside are plastic, but yeah, I think the things that surprise me the most about the Hulkbuster is, how they do the sculpting, but how that sculpting interacts with the articulation. I'm sure we'll go over articulation later, but just the things that they've done with the different armor pieces are pretty crazy. So I'm all about that. On the 43, yeah, I mean, it looks just like you would think it would. Some of the small details like in the shoulder and stuff like that are obviously going to be better on the Hot Toys, but that's just due to the size, etc. So yeah, other than those sort of small sort of silver details, I think they knocked it out of the park, at least on the sculpt of the plastic bits, etc.
Yeah, it's pretty detailed. Yeah, Sean's right. Like inside the inside mechanisms, like in the shoulders, and then maybe like some parts in the knee or those areas on the 43 anyway. Those are like a little lackluster compared to like a Hot Toy, but I mean it's not. It's just 1/12. Like I don't see how they could have done a better job there. They look well enough, and then as far as the Hulkbuster, there's a ton of detail and mechanics and everything. Like you open up the chest and you could see all the sculpted in detail in the chest, and then in between the elbows, and even so the knees, when you bend them, they're sculpted detail underneath. So that way when you're articulating it doesn't just look like a joint there. Like
Love
they
that.
sculpted all the way through there.
That's huge.
Yeah, and then even I don't think you're gonna see it here, but like behind the elbow or the shoulder here inside, there's a lot of detail.
Yeah,
where
you could see it a little
inside
bit.
there on both sides, and the shoulder panels have like ventilation areas, looks like, and different stuff. So the only part on the 40 or the Hulkbuster that is lacking details or kind of takes you out of it, or like is the inside of the chest where everything plugs in. Is like there is some detail in there, but you can see like where the flight stand plugs in, and that kind of takes you out of it. And then there's a cheap hinge. There's like a cheap hinge under the head. I'm gonna have to fucking ruin the anyway, so it took me like an hour to get in that pose. You fucking hate to see.
You'll get it back in there.
But you can see this. So this kind of bugs me, because like if I wanted to pose it with the 43 right here, like the bust part, and just show the 43, like you'd see this toy hinge here. Which
The
is
head
like a
wouldn't cover it
shitty-
up.
Nah, it's like a shitty like gray plastic hinge there. It's just like not even painted the same silver that like the rest of the detail is. And
Sure.
Then, let's see if I can.
Is there anything like that anywhere else around on the Hulkbuster that has something that's like a random?
No. Everything visible, like that's arguably hidden when the chest is
Right.
compact and the head is on there, but even like down to the detail on the feet.
That's nice.
which light up. You can see the clear light up areas. Yeah, there's detail all over. Like I said, where the knee bends here, you can see they sculpted all this under here. And then in between the elbow areas there's sculpted detail. And let me show you, since I have it up here now, behind the shoulder area, you could see there's also that hinge in there that's like just a gray plastic
Yeah.
that you can see when you have it sort of posed really crazy. But other than those things, it's sick. And yeah, like Sean said, like hefty. Like this is probably like 5 or more pounds. So yeah, it's pretty well detailed.
Very cool. So overall, would you guys say there is, because I've heard people say this is the case, but in your guys's guesstimate, would you say it has more diecast than a hot toy?
I never lifted the hot toy, so Sean would probably have to comment on that one.
Then the Hot Toy Hulkbuster?
Either one.
Yeah, not the Hulkbuster. The Hulkbuster weighs like 35 pounds or something stupid like that. That is a beefy boy. Then your standard Iron Man. I don't know. Maybe just due to the size, because it's definitely bigger than your standard Iron Man.
Sure.
But it's the Iron Mans are pretty heavy, and especially like the Mark 7 or something like that has a lot of diecast on it. I don't know if any of the panels on this one are diecast. I think all the panels are probably plastic on this.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so I know that they have diecast panels on Hot Toys. So, probably not as much, but just due to the size, the internal frame and all that, especially with how ratchety and all that stuff the joints are, I think they had to be pretty beefy. So,
Sure.
yeah, I mean, it might be on par with a Hot Toy.
Sean has it. He has the Patriot. Dylan, you have a War Machine hot toy? Like any of the War Machines?
Yep.
So to me, this feels like the same weight as the Mark IV from Infinity War.
Yeah, that's the one I have.
It's probably
Okay.
as weighty as that one.
So, like, how do I want to say this? Like, of the percentage of the figure of diecast, I know Sean said he doesn't know, compared to the Hot Toy Hulkbuster. Do you know what it, like, if it, like, I know, so for instance, regular diecast Hot Toys, most of the diecast is just in the legs.
Yeah.
Would you say that's the same with the Hot Toy Hulkbuster, or is that different and still probably more proportion wise than this one?
All of the joints, to me, I think are diecast or have some diecast somewhere. Like, not so like I could feeling it, like the upper bicep area feels like diecast, or at least the ball part in the shoulder. That feels like diecast. Like maybe inside of the forearm there's some diecast area, but like all of the outer shell doesn't feel like diecast, except for like probably from the knee, so the shins and the calves, those feel like diecast. Paneling in the feet are not. They feel like plastic. Maybe like the toe area feels like diecast. So like half of the legs feel like diecast. Maybe a third or half of the arms, and then the head is diecast, I think, because it feels a little colder than the like neck area. So I would say maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 60-70% of it or less. I don't know. That's my guesstimate.
Interesting. So
it has a lot.
Yeah.
It has a lot. Like if you're thinking of purchasing the figure and you're like, well, I don't know if it says diecast, but not a lot of it will. It definitely feels heavy and more diecast than plastic. Like you're not going to get it and think, oh, it feels cheap. It has a good amount of diecast in it.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
It definitely feels premium. I'm 100% on that one.
Okay. Well, good enough there. Thanks for covering that, guys.
I wonder if it
So-
says in the manual. Sorry, you can continue, but I'll look in the manual and see if it says anywhere like how much is diecast.
Yeah, let me know if you find anything. So I know, Sean, you got yours out here. Articulation, while Eddie's looking over. What's your thoughts on that?
Great. Yeah, I'll do this first, just since I have that, and I'll do Hulkbuster as well. Yeah, I mean it's great. I mean when you look at the legs, here I'll do this side. Do the legs. I mean look how far back you can go with the legs. Again, it's
Wow.
got toe articulation here, ankle articulation, ankle pivot as well. Goes back and forth. On the
Ooh,
ankle.
rockers. Need
Yep.
that.
The little sort of armor bits go out of the way as well. Again, same thing on that side. The joints double bend there. Everything is on extra joints as well. So the shoulder pads, like your standard hot toy, you can move them off to the side so that way you can kind of get the more articulation out of them there. Does have a butterfly joint, and you move these panels forward to kind of get to it, and then you can move it forward as well. I don't know how far forward these go, but I'll have to look at the manual on that one. But yeah, bicep swivel as well, so you can get the kind of sideways pose, however you want to do it there. It has the put that back. This is your standard sort of what you'd expect, full up down look. You can have them in this sort of flight pose, all that stuff.
Put that, so while he's kind of in that horizontal angle, put his head all the way up. Like if he's flying,
Yeah.
can like straight across. That doesn't look terrible.
Yeah, it's not. He can't get it fully, extended out, but pretty close, I guess. See here, he's got these back flaps like your standard sort of Iron Man Hot Toys figure. There we go. Looks like his. There you go. Yeah. What else? Oh yeah, here's his butthole right there. That's where you attach the flight
That is
stand
funny.
to.
Does that have like a plate or anything that covers it?
It does. Yeah, I just took off the
Okay.
plate. Yeah. What else? He has an ab crunch as well. Let me see what I can do there. Ab crunch as well. I think. Yeah. See, you can see it separating there, kind of like the Hot Toys one. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, it's got a good ab crunch as well. The legs, they have like your Hot Toys. I think these come out.
Yeah,
Maybe they don't.
they have the drop down.
Oh yeah, so they have the drop down. Okay, the one thing I'll say about the joints on this one and on the Hulkbuster, the joints are very, very tight from the factory. Like I can't even.
Yeah, one of my legs was slightly tighter than the other. They were
Yeah.
pretty tight. So I was like, I kept looking at the instructions to make sure that it bent that way, because I was like,
Yeah.
if I force this, it feels like it's gonna break. But you just gotta work them in, or
Yeah.
use heat or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, like with the Hulkbuster, I forget what it was. There was some joint that like would not move, and I was so terrified I was going to break it. But then I entered it, I was gonna like, oh shit, I got to call, them and make sure I can get like a replacement or whatever. But then I just worked it for a little while. It's got swivel like that. It comes down. It's a little bit different than Hot Toys does it. You know how Hot Toys usually in the crotch region, it's got an extra little sort of thing that just folds down at a different angle, and
Yeah.
that's how I get the drop down. But this one, see the leg actually just drops down, and then you can
Longer
get
peg.
more. The other cool thing about it, and we'll touch on this too on the Hulkbuster as well. Do these just come down, or how do these come out?
Yeah. They pop out and then down, kind of the same way the shoulders do.
There we go. There we go. See, you have this articulation right here. This is on another ball joint, so that way when you get up, you can put it kind of there, and you can get even more rotation. You just have to hide that with some clever posing. But there you go, put that back up.
I feel
Yeah.
like it has all of the same articulation as the Hot Toy. Like I don't think
Yeah.
there's anything like it has the same flaps in the
Mhm.
hips, in the chest, or shoulder areas. Oh, the only thing it doesn't have is that on the Hot Toys, the biceps I think will bend out of the
Yeah.
way for more elbow, but
Oh
it
yeah,
doesn't really need
yeah.
it.
Like it kind of pops up or slides up and down
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
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 But
Like
yeah.
they bought a hot toy and they're like they gave it to their engineering team and they're like, hey, replicate this but smaller.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Nice.
And I'll just show one thing too on the Hulkbuster here. Let me zoom out. There we go. So on the Hulkbuster here, if you look at this thigh plate right here, when you go to articulate the, move my hand out of the way, that helps. Again, he's heavy. When you move the knee out of the way, that
Wow.
that moves right there. That plate right there. Shit, you can't see. That plate moves so you can get more articulation. I mean, look at that. It's a Hulkbuster that you're getting, almost a 180 degree bend. This right here articulates as well, so it also moves out of the way. And when you bend it back, you'll see that thing pop back into place.
Oh yeah.
That's real cool.
Is there any rubbing that worries you guys or no?
Sort of normal amount, I would say. If you don't move the plates out and stuff like that, it will rub. I popped off the shoulders and the sort of feet plate and stuff like that a few times by not getting them out of the way, but you just pop them back on. But yeah, I mean, in any figure like this, there's going to be rubbing. It's sort of a unavoidable thing, unfortunately. But yeah.
I think the only thing that like scares me for the paint stuff was the hips, because like even though the panels move, I still want to bend it more than it's supposed to.
Yeah.
So like that's just a me thing though. The articulation is there, but you still kind of like if you use it to the max amount, you're still gonna have contact there, and so
Yep.
that stuff scares me. But yeah, it's not like it's not working. It's not like it doesn't work the way it should. It'll still have contact at some point.
Yeah, this thing is beefy.
Cool.
Yeah, the other thing too, articulation. This is the thing that took me forever to get that I thought was broken. Okay, now of course it's not going.
That thing,
Yeah.
that's supposed to be like the battering ram, right? Or it says tasers
Yeah.
or something. I don't remember him shocking the Hulk. Like,
No.
I thought it was the battering ram that he like punches him in the
Go to
face
sleep.
with.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
Yeah, but
No.
it says tasers in the
Yeah.
the manual or the instructions.
Yeah, that joint is tight. It took me forever to get that out. I thought I was going to break it 100%, but it worked out.
I don't know if we mentioned the die cast on the 43,
Mm-hmm.
but this thing is like feels like solid metal. I
Yeah.
feel like the only thing that's plastic is like maybe the shoulder pads.
Mm-hmm.
Or like the hands, obviously, and then like maybe the head feels plastic, but I feel like everything else on the body, like the torso and everything, is metal. It feels so solid, like it's crazy. It's very, very high end.
Wow.
Is there any articulation on the 43's hands? Like, it looks like some of it's kind of just stuck in that like if it's a
No.
repulsor, it's kind of stuck in that pose.
Other than the wrist, no. It like yeah, no. Like the panels on top of the hands that move on the Hot Toys,
Right.
they don't move here. So they're kind of like if you want them posed with repulsors, then it has that pre-posed panel, which always looked really funny to me because I was like, how does metal bend in real life? Like when Iron Man is doing a repulsor, you're telling me his metal just forms to his hand like that and then goes back? But yeah.
Yeah, he does a lot of things on screen with that suit that like shouldn't work.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing what I was telling Sean to do where like he's like looking up while he's flying. Like that'd be so hard to do, to try and like see where you're
Oh,
going
keep
while
it
you're like
straight.
flying
Yeah.
straight. Yeah, you'd have to like be at an
Yeah.
angle a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, cool. Okay, so any last thoughts on the articulation there? Did you guys want to get into the 43's articulation? Eddie, you don't have to mess around with yours. I know Sean did with his a little bit. If you want to just kind of show off yours, the pose that you did, so you don't mess it up, you can just kind of hold it up there and kind of show some things you can do with it. For
So-
example, so
You can see I have the left leg there, pretty high bend, pretty pose, and I have like the panel out, and I have the hip panel out here, so you can get it really good. It's still gonna have some contact there, but you can get really good poses. Everything else is kind of just minimal. That's a pretty like that's the extent of, I think, how far you're gonna get the head over the traps and the shoulders turn to the right. With the neck anyway, because the neck is also articulated, so that's kind of how it is there. But
okay.
it can do anything that an Iron Man should do. Both of them can. Both of them have the capability to get into a what is this, superhero landing?
Superhero.
This
landing.
can get into a superhero landing. It just won't be like, you can get Iron Man in a superhero landing and he'll be looking straight forward. This one will kind of like be looking down a little, and it'll look like a little more stretched out. But it's possible to do it, which is crazy. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's one thing that a lot of people are impressed with the Hulkbuster, from what I was able to see, is the articulation and that kind of, as USB puts it, a beefy of a figure. So as we're kind of approaching the hour here, we can kind of just hit on the last segment. Just give us your kind of, so 3 parts, your overall kind of thoughts, summary of it, and what you think, contrary to like the value you get out of it, your obviously like your dislikes, likes, things like that, and then from there we'll kind of branch off to the future of the line.
The only issue I think that I have at all with the Hulkbuster is this knee panel slides off. I don't know if it's supposed to click back in or not. Like, there's
Sean, check
obviously,
yours.
like, corner areas that have this little area that slots in, and I could see it on the figure.
Mm-hmm.
But it just slides off, and when I push it back on, it doesn't really feel like it locks into place on anything, but it stays, and like it doesn't fall off or anything. It's there.
The one on the other side doesn't do it?
No, and I don't want to like pull it off because it's never came off. This one came off as I was trying to do different poses, and now it just kind of slides off and back on. So I don't know. It's something I can glue because it doesn't ever need to come off. So it's not a huge deal, but that's the only thing that happened on mine.
It doesn't affect anything when you bend that knee or anything?
No, it's just a panel that slides off for some reason.
Yeah,
I'm guessing that it's supposed to be glued, and it had like maybe some weak glue there, and it just came off. So
Yeah, mine are stationary, so I don't think that's supposed to happen.
yeah, it's not. I'm sure that's what it was. There was some glue like in those slot
Little ports.
areas,
Yep.
and I could put the glue back there, and I'm sure if I did that and put it on, it would never come off again. But it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't fall off unless I'm like manhandling it, and then I could just put it back on. It's not a big deal. But that was the only thing that happened to me as I was messing with either of them. And then so when you get Hulkbuster in the Iron Man pose, I kind of wish his ab crunch went even further back so I could have, because that's how I originally wanted it to look, like Hulkbuster in an Iron Man superhero landing pose with the 43 busting out from that pose. But the way that it works, the torso stays straight, so when I put the flight pull in, the 43s just kind of looks like it's flying out instead of jumping straight up.
Yeah.
So like I wish there was a little bit more articulation there so I could get it straight up, but that's probably like just not possible.
Uh-huh.
But that was another thing that was kind of like, damn, I can't get it to do what I want it to do. But that's kind of like asking a lot. So I don't know if that's a gripe. It's just something that I was trying to do with it. But I think that's it for me.
Yeah, I
What
mean,
about
I
you,
think
USB?
like I said, the only thing is the joints are super duper tight, so you have to work them in to get them sort of where you need them to be to move. And it's definitely a little bit scary at first, but then you kind of get the hang of it. I think my only two gripes on the figure is not coming with batteries. Just to at least try out the stuff. And then
Are they like little watch batteries or?
yeah.
I got 'em. Here. You can keep going, Sean. I'll just
Yeah, mostly just that. I mean, I think everything else for the price is it's really hard to beat. The instructions could be a little bit clearer, but what you can and can't do. But yeah, no, it's they're great figures. I mean, for what you're paying for them, they are fantastic figures. They add a lot of they have a lot of shelf presence for sure. Especially like look at Eddie's pose, and that looks freaking amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely can't go wrong with these figures. If you feel like spending, $350 on these two, I don't think you'll regret it for sure if you're an Iron Man fan.
Yeah, two of these, and it's cheaper than Hot Toys nowadays for one.
Yeah.
So, and you can almost get 3 of the regular Iron Man, Threezero Iron Mans for the price of one Hot Toy one. So, something to think about. And like what Eddie made point to earlier, and I think he has on a previous show, is the space saving, right? If you truly want to build out an Iron Man armor, just like an Iron Man armor display, this is a pretty easy way to go about it.
So do you think this is going to be like a game changer to people who buy Hot Toys, or do you think it's going to be more of a game changer towards like Mafex and SH Figuarts? I know they don't scale perfectly together, but just for value, what do y'all think?
I don't know if it's a game changer. I think that it's the best Iron Man line to get right now in 112. Like, Mafex is slow and expensive, and they're not gonna. Does Mafex light up? I don't even know if Mafex lights up or not. Like the 85, I don't know. If it does, then you got that. But I feel like this has light up. It has a lot of armors for Iron Man already announced, and Mafex only has the 85 and the 50, I think. So like Mafex is. I don't know if Mafex would do a Iron Man line where they do all the armors. So I think that if you want to, the thing for me is like if you want to complete a hull of armors, this is the best line to do that. Price wise, space wise, anything, like this is the best way to do it. And I hope that at some point they do like the actual hulls, so you could do a display like that.
That'd be
cool. But that's what it was for me. That's why I wanted it to get like the several Iron Man armors and have a display of that. And they're affordable, pretty affordable. So that's the best thing about it.
You think the value is there for both of them for what they cost each?
Yeah, definitely. I think. Yeah, I don't think you could go wrong. I wouldn't say that they should be any less. Because like I said, the 43 is solid, heavy figure. So for $80, $90, whatever you're gonna spend on it, if you can get it secondhand, you get it cheaper. But I think that they're pretty insane for the price. Even the Hulkbuster, like $250, it does a lot. I don't think that's bad at all. Maybe $200. I don't know if you're like a cheap person, but I'm sure you'll get it. People are selling stuff right now. I'm sure you can find a deal on it. But $250 retail is fine. And even Sideshow had like 10% off and $5 shipping on it, I think, or something. So you could have got it for like a decent deal on Sideshow. So yeah,
Sure.
it's
yeah,
worth it.
Yeah, I would say the only thing it's really missing is a head sculpt, but Eddie and I are always on the same page where we're
Oh,
like,
and
you know, when do
articulated
you?
hands would have been cool
Yeah,
for the
Yeah.
articulated light up
Hulkbuster.
hands would have been cool for the
Yeah.
Hulkbuster at least.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Very cool. Yeah, that would be that's crazy. It doesn't have light up hands. I would have thought that would have been a staple. Maybe it's just that much more
That might
to
be
engineer that small.
difference because I think what's the other one that people really love? Is it the Sentinel one or the Imaginarium Arts or Imaginarium Arts might be the statue, but there's like that
Starts
other
with a Z,
Hulkbuster.
isn't it?
No,
Oh,
no,
maybe
that's
not.
ZD Toys. So I was gonna talk about them, because this scaling is it's 1/12, but like it's closer to like 7-inch scale than
It's
like
like-
true 1/12. So ZD Toys is 1/10, I think. So like anything that you don't get in this line, you could probably mix in with ZD Toys, and that's like super cheap stuff. Like, because I don't think there's die cast in those; they're all plastic. But they're doing I don't know if Threezero will ever do an Ironmonger, but ZD Toys is doing an Ironmonger, so I think you could fudge it in with that 1/10 line. But no, there's
Okay.
a Hulkbuster. It might be the Sentinel Hulkbuster. Or there's another movie Hulkbuster in 1/12, and that one has light up hand repulsors. But I don't know if it. I think it might be more expensive than this one. I'll have to look it up.
Okay. So I guess with the future of this line, are you guys pretty excited about it? Are you think you'll invest from here on out, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely like the idea of the Iron Patriot that they have, and the Mark III. I don't know if I'm gonna go all in on it, but definitely get the sort of classic armors, just in case they do a Hall of Armors one day, because I almost got the Hot Toys one at one point, but like I was measuring it and see what like the display space that you need for that. It is gigantic. Like it's a whole 165 to itself, which is a lot of real estate. So to do that, a Hall of Armors in this scale would be pretty freaking awesome. So I'll probably pick up that, and I hope they continue the line because it's phenomenal so far.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I wanna at least 1 through 7, so a Mark 1 would be cool.
Mm, this would be a
But
fun
I
one in the
do
5.
want I do want all the other. So far, I have all of them on pre-order except for like, I'm not a battle damage guy, so anytime they do a battle damage version, I'll probably be out. I don't really care. But everything else that they've shown, I definitely am interested in. So.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I kind of join in. Really, the only part, like I was gonna say there, I really wish it had is head sculpts, but every time I say that, I end up not ever displaying or caring about head sculpts when I look
It
at
would
it.
have been cool
I open it up,
to have
look
it
at it,
under the
and
head.
then that's what do you, oh
Like the
yeah,
helmeted
like
head, like where
Tony's-
you just
like-
remove the like a hot toy, like
Right, and
maybe
like-
not even
yeah.
a full head sculpt, but just that would have been cool.
like what Mezco does
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be you'd think they would do that with some of these first ones, but I'm guessing they wanted to avoid the licensing.
That's probably why they can keep it so cheap
Mhm.
with the Iron Man, is because they don't have to involve Robert Downey Jr.'s likeness or anything.
Right, especially for the price that he's rumored to cost for it.
Yeah.
So very cool. Any last thoughts you guys wanted to kind of point out here before we kind of sign off?
No, yeah, just if you're looking for a more affordable way to get a Hulkbuster, more affordable and space, economical way to get a Hulkbuster and all that stuff, definitely cannot go wrong with this one for sure. I don't think you'd be disappointed in the slightest.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining, kind of showing these off. I was really excited to see these. You've pretty much gotten me on board. Hopefully you helped out anyone else interested in checking out these figures. So if anyone ever has any questions on them, definitely post them in the comments. We'll be sure to ask Sean and Eddie on their thoughts on them and get back to you guys. But other than that, thank you for tuning in, everyone, to this special episode of Small Talk, the show where we talk about absolutely nothing important at all. Have a good night. Thanks, everyone.